from, and it's got to be extra long because it's been a while, unknown parts of metropolitan New York City. I am the hip and
Yes, hello, good evening, or good morning, good afternoon, whenever you might be tuning in, and yes, you're not hearing things, it is H&L, we're not speaking to you from beyond the unknown or another dimension or underneath your pillow. No, it's actually H&L. We are back. That's right, as the H shakes his head after a little hiatus. But hello, it has been a while. It's been too long. So much has gone on. And oh my God, this show might go on and on and on and on because Lord knows there is just so many stories kind of reverberating themselves throughout our fair city. And yes, we are post-Thanksgiving. We are in right in the midst of the holiday season, the big shopping rush and all of that. And yes, the tree was lit tonight at Rockefeller Center, WGAS. I'm sure the H watched every bit part of that. But what do you say, Mr. Hemp?
Well, I say that just in case it wasn't clear, because you didn't make it clear, this is a New York sports podcast. And yes, we have plenty to get to. Oh, there was a certain player that was benched or whatever. Who cares? Their season's over. Next topic.
Outrage galore.
Look, we'll walk through the NFL. Oh, hey, the Big Ten ACC matchup tonight on the early slate will feature two teams that had not pitted against each other since the timeout. Wonder what I'm referring to there. How about your New York Islanders with some nice play recently? We'll get to that. This team are they setting up for disappointment, or are they going to be in the thick of things going into the depth of the season? And of course, some Knicks. And yes, so episode number 75 is underway.
It's about damn time, I must say.
and a bombshell of a news report dropped in the New York sports media, that being that Geno Smith will be starting a game for a New York football team this coming weekend.
Unbelievable. And it's not the team in green. So, but Giant fans, Big Blue fans, are feeling green today and probably wanted to vomit some green after hearing the news. Just absolutely stunning. And it's not so stunning because of the fact that they changed quarterbacks. It's stunning because of the fact that the coach told you that we are trying to still win games here. You could have fooled us. And we think that we have a better chance of winning with Geno, he stinks. Boo, Geno. That's right, that Geno Smith. As we talked about him in the preseason, and we both thought it was a no-brainer that he should be the backup over Josh Johnson, who stinks, who's awful. But
right.
if you're thinking Geno Smith stinks as well, he just doesn't stink as much. But yes, he is still Geno Smith, and according to Ben McAdoo, he is the best chance to give the Giants the best chance the Giants have of winning this coming Sunday against the Raiders in Oakland. I don't know.
Is this Eli? Is this Eli Manning's? Is he done for the Giants?
Honestly, I don't see how they're, because this opens up so many questions now. And I was actually if we would have done this yesterday, I would have been ranting and raving and yelling and screaming. But the big guy took care of that for us. I'm sure you know who I'm referring to, of course, the guy that's going to be out in only a few weeks. The countdown
going out with a bang.
Yes, you usher out the big man and you usher in the next Star Wars. Oh yes, that's very exciting. All very exciting stuff. He ranted and raved for all of us yesterday. If you haven't checked it out, please check it out. It's amazing. It's hilarious. It's everything. He gets the anger, the emotion, the snarkiness. He gets it all in there. But instead of ranting and raving, I just said to myself, this opens up so many, this leads to so many questions as to what this damn team is doing. And for anybody out there, or any Giant fan that is angry at the GM and placing their anger at the GM or placing their anger at the coach or both, direct all of that anger. You can, but look, McAdoo's a buffoon. If there was ever a chance he's coming back, we'll get to the owner. That's what I was about to get to. But if the owner was ever considering bringing him back. And of course, that's John Mara. We'll get to that. Jerry Reese, I had an opinion on him that if you wanted to bring him back, you can make the argument. If you think he should be jettisoned, you can absolutely make that argument too. I would probably lean at this point now to jettison him, but the anger should be directed at the owner. The owner told you today, and I didn't need him to tell me. I knew it anyway. The owner told you today that this was at his behest to sit down Eli Manning. This all lays, and I don't know if you agree with me on this, but to me, this is all at the feet of the owner. The owner, and everything you heard about the Giants, oh, forever, class organization. They lost all that class. You know what? That class died when his father, the real Mr. Mara Wellington, died back in 2005. That's when the class died, because as soon as John took over, he became your typical crass, greedy, uncaring, don't give a damn about anything except for my bottom line, my profits owner. That's what he became. It led to PSLs, this monstrosity of a stadium. That's just a big pile of $2 billion pile of concrete. It led to PSLs. It led to Josh Brown, the incident last year that was all John Mara, who said, you terrorized and brutalized your wife. That's okay. We'll just sweep it under the rug. You can kick field goals for us. We'll bring you back. Oh, but Laramie Tunsil smoked weed. Oh, we can't have him. He's a bad guy. We can't touch him. But Josh Brown, you terrorized your wife. That's fine. What is all
right, look. So what is John Mara's thinking? Like, you put yourself, please elaborate and put us into John Mara's shoes. What was his thought process to make this decision?
Well, remember,
I'm not asking you to justify it. I'm just asking you to elaborate what his actual thought process was.
I'm not answering. Remember,
to the best of your, educated guess abilities.
Well, and if you disagree, if you have a different line of thought,
I'm not saying I disagree. No, I think it's important. Was based on what you know.
Just remember. Well, it starts with this. Remember, Ben McAdoo was John Mara's decision. Okay, when they forced out Coughlin, and look, I defended them getting rid of Coughlin. I thought it was time to move on, but the coaching search was a joke, and that everybody knew from day one. It was ridiculous that they even called it a coaching search, or that they were actually interviewing other people, because everybody and their mother knew that Ben McAdoo was going to take over as coach, and it surprised nobody when he did. And everybody knew that as soon as Gilbride was fired during the Coughlin era, and Ben McAdoo was forced on Coughlin, and they can tell you that Coughlin hired him, and that's all fine. But Coughlin had no desire to get rid of Gilbride. They forced Gilbride out, and they said, we're bringing in a new guy now. We think that the offense is broken, and it's Gilbride's fault, and the writing's now on the wall that if you don't fix things quickly, Tom, you're going to be out. Well, we saw what happened. And McAdoo was brought in, and for whatever reason, the owner fell in love with him. I don't know if he charmed him the way that Sather has charmed Dolan, or the way Isaiah charmed Dolan for all those years, or I don't know exactly what McAdoo did, but Mara fell in love with Ben McAdoo. They should have went to he could have been his prom date. We don't know exactly what John Mara right now is thinking about McAdoo. Everybody assumes that McAdoo's out. He's dead man walking. It doesn't even matter what they do at this point. They can win every game out. He should be fired. And I agree. Ben McAdoo absolutely 1,000% should be fired. They can win every game. The rest of the year with Geno Smith as quarterback, I don't care. With Ben McAdoo, because of the way he has coached this year, it's been absolutely abominable. And the way the team has performed this year has been, for the most part, abominable. And at times gutless, and at times lacking effort, and at times not even just lacking effort, at times certain players quitting. But I don't think that John Mara, in his mind, has decided yet that Ben McAdoo is definitely out. And that is what scares you the most, because everything comes back to I think the hip's getting a chuckle out of this, but everything comes back to what Mara is going to do with the GM and the coach before you can even get to Eli and whether or not he'll be here next year. But all right,
but you haven't. You've had 3 minutes and you haven't even come across closely to answering my question. Did you forget what my question was? My question was
why this was Mara's doing.
Why? No. You pretty much stated that it was a fact that it was Mara's doing. So my question was, what was Mara's thought process to do so?
Because I think that Mara is, well, honestly, I think that Mara is ready to move on from Eli. I think that McAdoo has, that's why I'm saying, so I'm going around your question, but I think it comes back to McAdoo.
But I don't want you to go around it. I want you to go straight to it.
I don't think McAdoo has ever thought that Eli was going to be his quarterback for an extended period of time. I think McAdoo in his head said, I'm going to be here a while. At least that's probably the impression that Mara gave him. Eli's old already. I don't want Eli to be my quarterback for that much longer. If I can jettison him after this year, if I can cut ties after this year, fine. And
all right, so in three sentences, you say this.
McAdoo said to, I'll give you your answer.
So you say Mara loves McAdoo. McAdoo doesn't necessarily think Eli is his guy, thus might as well start looking in another direction now.
Here's what happened. Well, here's what happened. Yes, and I'll just expand on that.
Okay.
Mara, well, here. Mara said to McAdoo, I'm going to have to get rid of you. You tell me why I should keep you. He then said, if you let me start Geno Smith, I'll demonstrate that my offense is not broken, that the offensive line, the receivers, all of that, I can win and put up points with this group if you let me take out Eli Manning and put in Geno Smith.
Can McAdoo say that with a straight face?
And that's, well, exactly. And that's the point, is that McAdoo was at the end of his rope. So he is now scapegoating Eli, putting this all at Eli Manning's because he has nothing to lose now. So if he's saying that's the quarterback's fault, you let me take a chance with Geno. And I know that Davis Webb will play. They've said Davis Webb will play. And they have to put in Davis Webb because you need to see what he is, because they are going to have a high draft pick and they're going to have a decision to make come the fall or come the spring as to whether or not they're going to be drafting a quarterback, whether it's if Darnold does come out, which who knows if he will. Rosen, you figure, will be coming out, so he'll be out there. The kid from Wyoming, I don't know what they're going to end up doing. If they're going to take a quarterback, I don't know if he actually sold a bill of goods to Mara that Geno Smith can be a starting quarterback in this league. I mean, that just tells you what a fool and what a buffoon he really is, McAdoo.
This whole discussion is almost making me think, us putting aside just the pure respect to have for the player that Eli Manning has been to this organization, is it such a terrible thing that they've done this?
The way they did it, yes.
Look, right, I understand the way they did it, but just thinking like 2-3 years from now, are we really gonna look? I guess you can not. Maybe you lose some respect for the organization as a whole. That being said, how many years of quality quarterback play do you think Eli Manning realistically has left in the tank? Anyway, look, I'm not saying that I agree with the decision, but I don't know. Is it really? Look, putting aside the disrespect part, I get that. I could see why so many people have thrown their support behind Eli. But in a lost season, putting the disrespect aside, what's the downside to doing this?
Well, it's not that there's downside, but they would have justified this by saying, hey, this has nothing to do with Eli. Unfortunately, we have to break his streak. And look, Eli's a team guy. If they would have came to him and said, Eli, here's the deal. This is a lost season. We're going nowhere. Okay, we understand you have your streak, and we don't want to do this without asking you first because we at least owe that to you. And I can guarantee you that Eli would have had no problem with it. I don't think Eli thought he was going to break Favre's streak. I think it meant something to him, but I don't think he would have put that ahead of the team. And if they say we have to start Davis Webb because we need to know what he is, and look, you're getting old. We're going to be honest with you. You're getting older. You're not going to be playing forever. We have to start planning for the future. There might be a quarterback in this draft that we want to take, but we want to take a look at this kid first. I don't think would have been an easy decision for Eli. Absolutely not. Might have he been a little resistant at first? Absolutely. I think that ultimately he would have said okay. And if they would have portrayed it in this manner to the fan base and to the media, to the fan base, that we have to see what Davis Webb is. The season's gone. We decided to go in this direction. People might have still been upset or angry, but everybody would have at least understood, and nobody would have said, oh, how can, the way that you did this to Eli, you tell him we're going to start you for a half to keep your streak intact, and then we're going to take you out of the game, which is just the ultimate slap in the face. And Eli, I'm sure, was too polite to say, go to hell, which is what he should have did when they came to him with that nonsense. I didn't see that. They actually offered for him to start half the game. Yeah, they said to keep your streak alive, we'll start you, but then we're going to take you out. No matter what, we're taking you out at the half or whenever around.
So the alternatives presented to Eli were that, or you just don't start at all.
You just don't start. And Eli, I'm sure again, was too polite to say go to hell, and he was absolutely right to decline that ridiculous offer. And that was the most insulting and the worst part of all of this in the way that they.
I mean, I don't understand what even the point of the offering the streak. Would they do that for every game? They're going to start Eli for half of each game and then take him out
for the rest of the year. Yeah,
seriously,
but
that's pretty bizarre.
And that tells you they don't care about winning the games. That's what is so hypocritical when they say we're still trying to win and Geno Smith gives us the best chance to win. And McAdoo was like, well, I didn't really say that. Of course you did. You said you have a game plan for him that Geno Smith can execute. And you've gone out of your way since you've been here to criticize Eli in public, to tweak him in public, to the media, to be critical of him. You never touch Beckham, who was – you could have lambasted him in the media every week, it seemed like, for a period there. Never went near him because he was such a coward. And all he could do was go after Eli because he knew Eli would never, ever, ever go after him because he was too classy of a guy to do that. And Eli never, ever, ever threw him under the bus. And that's the thing about Eli is what separates him from Brady, from Manning, from his brother Peyton, who threw temper tantrums on the sideline and threw temper tantrums in the media, as does Brady. We've seen on countless occasions, and berating teammates. Eli Manning never, ever, 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 ever did that. Now, we'll find out a little bit more about Eli with his memorabilia scandal thing. I mean, we'll find out exactly what the deal is with that before, we rub the gloss all over him. But never. I could come up with some remix YouTube song of that. Oh my god! How many nevers did I get in there? Well, it's the case though.
We need somebody to go back through this audio and somehow remix that.
Well, they've done it for the big guy. Maybe they can show me that same respect.
That's right.
Same admiration by doing it for me too. I know I got a lot of evers in there. But it's true, and he never did. And again, we'll find out what the deal is with the other stuff off the field. But the bottom line,
all right. Well, we're approaching 20 minutes on this, and I think we could go a lot more. But I will give you the opportunity to make a final statement on the subject if you don't feel like you've fully gotten off enough on discussing this.
No, I mean, there's a lot here. It's a huge story. I mean, it's huge in the sense that the people did not expect it to go down like this. And the question that you asked was a fair one. Is this that big of a deal? It's a lost season. Eli's now going on 37. He has a few years left on his contract.
2 years from now, is anybody really going to give a crap?
It depends. It depends if how much Eli gives a crap, how much this hurt him, and it was clear that this hurt him. If you saw his interview yesterday with the media,
I'm sure it did.
He was very, very much hurt by
it. But if the Giants have a new quarterback on the team that gives, this will be a distant memory that nobody will really give a crap about.
Which is fine. But again, what scares me is that, and this is what I was getting at talking about before.
Okay.
I don't think in his mind Ben McAdoo is definitely gone at the end of the season. And that scares me because Ben McAdoo has done such an incredible job this year. He is the worst coach right now in the NFL. He's even worse than Hugh Jackson. I mean, he's worse than anybody can throw out there by 10 miles because he has no clue. He is so full. His arrogance has reached the point where he doesn't even realize what is being said around him. It's like he is so clueless and so tone deaf, and the arrogance that he displays every single week as if nothing is wrong and we're just going about our business and next game up and I'll look at the film, and it's been the same nonsense with McAdoo all year and he hasn't gotten it. And whoever has been whispering in his ear, treat the media like crap, berate them when they dare question you, and don't give actual answers, give vague, ridiculous responses, and instead of actually answering questions, whoever has been whispering in that ear can go shove it too. Because I don't know who has been, but they have not led him in the right direction. They have led him completely astray, and it has been obvious really since the season spiraled out of control. I mean, you can go back to whatever game, the Eagle game.
How about the Rams game in 3rd and 33 or whatever?
Disgrace, absolute disgrace. I mean, that's going to go down in that giant lore, 3rd and 33. and then you turn around and lose to the winless 49ers and get your rear end.
The player that was on an MVP track, Robert Woods, who's now injured, unfortunately, but that Robert Woods emerging this year as a bona fide WR1.
Who would have thought? Hey, Adam Thielen.
Oh, God.
That doesn't matter for me, but I mean, that was one of the biggest disgraces I've ever seen. I mean, that you talk about, that was like that was like the first. I forget. It was like the first third down and 33 plus or something for a touchdown in like 25 years or something. And then it was like there was so many firsts that the Giants set in that game. Like 1989, it was the last time that 3rd and 33 went for a touchdown. Worst home performance since '64. I mean, you can go down the line with all of the shameful stats that have been appearing each and every week to describe this Giant season, which is just
okay. So we'll move on. It's just the Giant season's done, and we'll look forward to watching Geno Smith be the first quarterback since who? This is a trivia question I don't know the answer to quarterback for both the Jets and Giants. I don't know the answer to that, and I don't know if that even came up in any of these articles.
No idea. That's a good question, actually. I'd have to give that one some thought. What I can tell you is that Geno Smith is one of the 13 quarterbacks that have started for the Jets since 2004, which was November 21st, 2004. That was when Eli made his debut, which I remember vividly, a loss to the Falcons. Can you guess how many starting quarterbacks the Cleveland Browns have had since Eli Manning was not the starter for the Giants? Take a guess at that one.
You mean since Eli Manning had his first start for the Giants?
How many different quarterbacks have started for the Cleveland Browns? Not even played, just started.
So you said the Jets have had 13?
13.
I'll say, and that was since 2004. So we're talking 14 seasons.
Yep.
Man, the Jets have averaged almost one starter a year. Cleveland, we'll say, has more. Let's say they averaged 0.5 starters per year. So that would put us at
not that bad.
It's not that. So 2 starters a year would be like 26.
Just under 23. 23 starters.
Okay.
I guess
so not quite 2 starters per year. Okay.
I guess it doesn't sound that, but it's still 23 in the time that Eli Manning was the only guy to make a start for the Giants. And it's only 14 seasons.
Of course.
I mean, it's not it's
all right, so quick survey around the rest of the league here. I saw this past weekend pointing out in the NFC that each of the division leaders current division leaders failed to make the playoffs last year. So the Eagles, the Vikings, the Saints, and the Rams, none of which were playoff teams. My Saints, I say my Saints. We did an over-under on the Saints. We'd have to go back and check the rest of the teams from that episode. But I was a little bullish, I remember, on the Saints in the preseason. And look, their defense did emerge as relatively legit, but they've had a couple of injuries. Their rookie corner, Lattimore, just a beast, but he got hurt. So they're gonna spring some leaks.
Yeah, their defense is better, but it's still not that great. I mean,
But how about Alvin Kamara? Oh my God, this guy is electrifying.
Last week. Oh my God,
this is the player that we thought Andre Ellington could be, right? We were a little excited about Andre Ellington on the Cardinals. Well, Alvin Kamara became the guy that we were kind of hoping Andre Ellington could be. This guy is it's incredible. It's like he's just at another speed on the field from everyone else, and the way he makes players miss too. It's not just the speed, but his juking ability and hurling ability. Look, they're going to be careful how they use him. He's not going to be a guy between the tackles for a ton of. That's Mark Ingram, but they found this perfect. Like, it's like, what the hell were you doing here, AP?
Well, we said that right away. We said that at the beginning of the season. That made no sense at all.
It made no sense. But it's a perfect balance of runners for that team, and it makes sense that Drew Brees is on pace to attempt the fewest passes in a long time because their running game is legit, and his arm strength isn't quite the same as it used to be. And so why not continue to rely on that running game? And if their defense could hold up, they could make a run.
Yeah, I mean, that division's interesting. I mean, Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans. You have Atlanta all of a sudden now looks like they've hit their stride. So they play the Saints, Atlanta, twice in 3 weeks. And then Carolina still has to play New Orleans and Atlanta as well. But the difference is that Atlanta and Carolina both have to play Minnesota. And New Orleans, he replaced, and they basically have the same schedules except for that. So instead of playing Minnesota, they get to play the Jets instead, New Orleans. So that's the difference between Atlanta, Carolina, and the Saints. So the Saints have a little bit of a leg
clearly
up.
the most interesting division in the NFC to this point.
Well, the East is done.
I don't trust the Falcons. Matt Ryan has been so super inconsistent this year.
Be careful.
Maybe he's going to get hot.
I think.
Look, maybe he'll get hot, and he's been just off for a lot of the year. They did almost win a Super Bowl. A Super Bowl game that they should have won.
They should have won.
And so I don't really trust the Panthers.
No,
Cam Newton
I don't either. But their defense is very good. Their defense is legit.
It is. Cam Newton, I just feel like can just go on these cold stretches where you're like, what the hell are you doing with your throws? Like they're just so far off.
Oh, his accuracy is just not improved at all. It's atrocious.
Right. I mean, they're using him a lot more as a runner as when they did a few years ago, and they're having success. And that Kelvin Benjamin trade, I think, made a lot of sense. He just wasn't a good fit for that offense.
Yes, here comes Kevin Punches. Devin Punches.
And they figured out Christian McCaffrey. Yes, he's not gonna run between the tackles much, but they're making the most out of what they could get out of him. So I don't know. I just don't. They're not a team that I feel in any game really, unless their defense just shows up and has a couple of against the Jets. The defense I think had 2 scores, or it was 1 punt return, or one special team score and 1 defensive score.
No, the Jets have blown. We can, if we want to get to the Jets. How many?
Oh God.
They're now inventing ways to lose these games. McCown. It's unbelievable how he's evened out. He'll make a couple great plays. Wow, look at McCown, and he'll make a couple terrible plays, and you'll go, "Oh my God, that's right." Now he reminded me that he's Josh McCown.
Well, he doesn't make a lot of. It's more that he makes fumble plays. Does he make that many terrible throws?
He's thrown a couple of terrible interceptions. You think back to the Patriot game, you think to the Miami game, you think to the game this past week. They've just against Carolina. A game that they absolutely very easily could have won. The Jets could be competing for a wild card right now instead of basically looking again towards next year and whether or not Todd Bowles should be here, because that's going to be the question for them. At least they have more stability right now than the Giants, the Jets. If you can, putting the record in the way this season aside, they have more stability right now than the Giants do. The Giants are a mess, and the Jets, who the GM will be. They have to decide on the coach. If Bowles is gone, McCagnon will go out and bring in another guy. But they also has to find a quarterback. So, that's where they are both sitting in that same boat where they don't know who their quarterback is going to be next year. With the Giants coming into this year, Eli will play at least another 2, 3, however many years. Well, that came crashing down over the last.
Which team has the best chance of beating the Patriots right now, would you say, in the AFC?
Honestly, I'm not a Pittsburgh fan at all. After seeing what Todd Hundley or whatever his name is in Green Bay did to them,
that was the Steelers D was just looked terrible on Sunday night.
You hear about the secondary; it's improved, and look at what they've done with their front, with their front seven, and they're getting more pressure and against the. That was a great Steeler defense. Please, my God. Brady has always owned the Steelers. The AFC Championship game last year was basically non-competitive. Brady throughout his career, the Pats have just owned the Steelers, and I really don't think there's anybody right now. If you would have said Kansas City a month ago,
maybe right, exactly a month ago. Well,
look at where they are. Although I am rooting very heavily for 2 teams in the AFC. I have to figure out which one I will officially adopt. I am rooting for the Bills just because I was in Buffalo and I would love to see the Bills break that streak. And I actually I enjoyed watching the Chargers beat up on the Cowboys. And I want to see the San Diego, Carson City, LA, whatever you want to call them, Chargers, despite their piece of crap owner. I would love to see them make a run here, win that division, which they can do, and maybe even put a scare into the Patriots, because San Diego has given the Patriots some good games, and they have won a couple of those games throughout the Brady era. And I would be interested to see.
They have a good defense. They have a good defense, and
a great corner.
Yeah,
and they have
Joey Bosa
at times. Yeah, explosive offense. So that is a team that can very, very easily go on a streak as long as they don't decide to throw games out the window, as we've seen them do time and time again throughout the Rivers era.
I know. And well, they start 1-4 to the season, I think. Now they're 5-6.
Yeah, they were 0-4. They beat the Giants. There was a battle of the 0-4 teams.
0-4.
So they were both 0-4, the Giants and the Chargers, and then they've won a few games here now, 5-6, and let's see if the Chargers can pull out that division. I mean, the Raiders think that they're not going anywhere. I know they have the same record, but they'll beat the Giants this week. But I don't think the Raiders are going to make any kind of run here. The Broncos are done, and the Chiefs are falling apart. And now they're calling for Alex Smith to be benched for the kid that we've never seen. We know nothing about, other than the fact that his father pitched for the Colorado Rockies all those years ago. To answer your question, nobody can beat the Pats in the AFC. Yeah. The Chargers. There you go. There's your team.
The Chargers. Okay. No. Okay. Do you want to do picks now or after we touch upon some hockey and some basketball?
Well, I think we first have to talk about those wonderful celebrations that we're seeing in the. We're sticking with the NFL.
I'm over it. I don't care. I don't really care anymore. Because they do it every single play. I just don't care. It really doesn't interest me, and it doesn't annoy me either. I just kind of say whatever. Here's another one. I'm not really like. I don't know. Yeah. I don't really care.
Well, what's amazing is that they were supposed to be targeting our age group. So they were supposed to be targeting us, that we were going to be turning off the TV unless we saw them perform musical numbers on the field after they score a touchdown. But wait, don't perform the musical number just yet, because we have to review the touchdown for 9 minutes before we can give you the okay as to whether or not to go into your, Rocket-style kick line. Actually, you know what I thought of? But I had to get this out there. I thought of this the other day. There was a Family Guy episode where Peter, this was a while ago before Family Guy became an absolute piece of crap, but Peter was playing for the Patriots. Tom Brady was a guest star, and the whole Golden Boy Brady thing. But Peter was on the Patriots and scored a touchdown. And Brady, throughout the whole, one of the themes was Brady, no showboating, no showboating. Well, yeah, we see where that's gone with the NFL. But no showboating, no showboating. So Peter scores a touchdown and does a whole musical number, Shapoopy. Shapoopy was a song from the play Music Man. 76 trombones, yada, yada. So Shapoopy, though, was a musical number. He performed the whole number, and everybody got involved. And I was actually thinking of that when I saw the Eagles doing their thing with the electric slide. I mean, it's just so stupid. I can't. I laugh at them. I'm not even laughing with them. I'm just laughing at them. It's just so ridiculous. Okay. Anyway.
No. All right. Well, how about a team
that girl who's hard to get?
So last time we talked about the Islanders, John Tavares was playing awful. There were questions about why players were why certain players were being inactive, like Joshua Hosang. And let's fast forward a bit here, because the New York Islanders are in the Eastern Division, in the Metropolitan Division. They are tied for second and 1 point out of first place at 15-7-2. Could you have ever imagined 24 games into the season, a little over a quarter of the season, they'd be where they are right now? Yes?
What, coming into the season, or from our last episode?
Either one.
I would have said probably not. I would have said I want to see how their goalies settle in. I want to see how their lines formulate. which we've seen now. I mean, we can do a whole episode on the Islanders right now, who are the best team in New York, mind you. That's if you want to say the Yankees are the best, the non-baseball, the best non-baseball team in New York right now are, in fact, the New York Islanders. Yes, wow. They're better.
I mean, you're talking about snapshots of like 2 months. Okay, fine, I guess.
Right now, they are the best team in New York. And I would love to call up the big man and tell him that, because I'm sure his head would explode. How dare you, sir? But the Islanders.
So what explains this turnaround for Tavares? He was off to such a sluggish start to the year, and now it seems like every game he's scoring another goal.
So a few things have happened. So right now, the Islanders, you can argue, are the best offensive or the most explosive offensive team in the league right now. That even includes the Tampa Bay.
That seems impossible. I don't even know how you can say that with a straight face. That's ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous.
It sounds like Geno Smith gives us the best chance to win at quarterback. But I'll put the Lightning ahead of them right now. The Lightning, I think, are still the best team in the East. But the Eastern Conference right now could not be, other than the Lightning, could not be any more wide open. Their division's a gauntlet. Yeah. Right now, the Flyers are terrible, but everybody else has played well. I don't think the Penguins are going anywhere, even though people want to kind of throw dirt on them. I think they're not going to just fall apart here. The Penguins they're too good, and they still have too many offensive weapons. Malkin will be back. We're not going to go through every team here, but the Islanders, when you look at the way their lines have come together, when you look at the way, and they still have things to sort out here. Their defense is still, they still haven't figured out exactly how they want to roll with their sixth defenseman. You saw Pulak in there, who played well. He has not played now in 4 games, which is absolutely ridiculous that he has not played. That's one thing I completely disagree with Doug Wade and Garth Snow if he has a hand in this, and I'm sure his barbecue stain prints are all over this. That Pulak has not played. I still want to see exactly how their goalies settle in, exactly what kind of rotation they get with Halak and Grice. Halak was playing terribly there. He has played much better the last 2 games. I think he should play again Friday. I don't know what he's going to do Friday, but I think he should play again Friday. So we'll see what kind of a rotation they get going with those 2 guys. You've heard the Islanders need a goalie. The Islanders need a defenseman. You know what? They don't need a goalie. At least right now, They don't have to go out and find a goal, some backup goalie somewhere, and they don't have to bring in a top 4 defenseman. Now, if Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and you've heard that name thrown out there, is available, if he would ever become available, if the Coyotes said, we will entertain offers, every team will be busting down their door, but the Islanders should shove everybody aside and say, me, and say, we'll give you whatever the hell you want. Unless you're getting in a guy like that, the Islanders should look to bring in a bottom 6 forward that can solidify their third line. Right now, their top 2 lines are outstanding, and they are not going to be touched until, either somebody gets injured, knock on wood, or unless, just things kind of get out of sorts there and they start just playing badly and you need a shakeup. Until then, those 2 lines are not going to be touched. You're going to see Tavares with Lee and Bailey. You asked about Tavares. It was really the switch with Eberle and Bailey. I mean, Eberle was a guy that I said I thought that he would gel really well with Tavares. It didn't really work.
Lip,
yes.
Just reconnect your mic for us.
Yeah, right.
While you're in the middle of exciting Islander talk. Oh God, what a team! Oh, seems like every time I turn them on, they win. And how about that comeback victory against the terrible Flyers?
Yes, you good now, Mr. Hip?
We're good.
All right. Yes, those terrible Flyers indeed, as they continue their free fall. But as soon as they made that switch, Tavares, it was basically a switch with Tavares. He turned him on, and he went off. He had a period there where, he had 7 or 8 goals within it was within a handful of games. I forget what it was, a handful of games. I mean, he just went off. Bailey, who 2 years ago, and the Bailey Brigade are monitoring everybody, every Islander fan everywhere, whether it's on the message boards, on the Twitters, wherever. But the Bailey Brigade, and they're pumping their fists and they're thumping their chests and pounding their chests and all that now, which is fine. But I will not apologize for the criticism that I levied on Bailey a couple of years ago, because everything that I threw at him, he deserved, because he was hideous 2 years ago when they made their run in the playoffs. Now, Bailey has become a legit terrific player. Yes, you heard me say terrific player, Josh Bailey. He has fit in so well with that group with Tavares and Lee. He's in the top like 15 in scoring. He's in the top 5, I think, still in assists in the league. The light bulb has gone on with Josh Bailey. Last year he had not a great year, but he had a good year, a solid year, tailed off at the end. But overall a good year. This year he has been absolutely terrific. And everybody keys in and focuses on Tavares, who was a free agent at the end of the year. Well, guess what? Josh Bailey's a free agent too. So they're going to have a decision with him also. That line has been tremendous. Anders Lee is the real deal. He's a bona fide 40-goal scorer. He just knows exactly where to be. He puts himself in front of the net. He's so strong in front of the net. He's got an underrated shot. He doesn't, you're not going to see him, snap the puck past the goalies that often, but he's got a good heavy slap shot. The analytics geeks will point to his shooting percentage and say, well, he's going to regress. You know what? As long as he's in front of the net, he is going to be scoring goals. The second line, Matthew Barzal. How about that guy? He was only on his way to superstardom. Matthew Barzal. For those of you that are saying, if you're not a follower of the team every day, you might be saying, who? Huh? Well, you're not going to be saying who or huh anymore. If you watch any one of their games, you are going to be dazzled by Matthew Barzal. He has been absolutely incredible. Everything that you could have ever possibly imagined times 1,000 is what Matthew Barzal is right now for the New York Islanders. He leads all rookies in scoring. Wasn't
he the guy that it was in his first game, that his debut or his second game, we made fun of him because he committed a penalty, and then was this Barzal? And then he was in the penalty box, right, and he stuck his stick out of the penalty box before he fully came back onto the ice, touched the puck, and he had to go right back into the box.
That's the guy. Yep. So he learned his lesson, I guess.
And, there it is. Yes.
And I didn't think he got a fair shake last year. I mean, you're gonna hear all this stuff. Oh well, good thing he went back to the minors. He really worked on his game. Blah blah blah. You know what? It doesn't matter now. I didn't think he got a fair shake last year. He was on the ice for 10 minutes last year, but it doesn't matter. Now he is on his way to superstardom. His skating actually, and you might think I'm crazy, his skating is actually Crosby-esque. His powerful skating. It's not just fast. And he's not the fastest guy, but he is fast, but he is powerful. His stride is it reminds me of Crosby. I immediately said, you know what? After seeing him a handful of games, I actually thought of that name. And the other guy that I'm going to throw out there too, and you've seen this around, the Twitters and the message boards too, but I also thought of this because he was my favorite player back in the day, is Pat LaFontaine. And even my dad said the same thing, Pat LaFontaine. And if he can become, forget about Crosby, but if he can become Pat LaFontaine, possibly in my opinion, the greatest American-born hockey player ever. He is everything that you could have ever wanted him to be. Look, we'll see how the season, how the season unfolds. Will he, tire out eventually? Will he hit a wall? How will that, what kind of season will he end up having? That's all fair. That's all fine. But right now, he is a tremendous player. Jordan Eberle has 10 goals in his last 14 games, has been absolutely terrific. All the nonsense from Edmonton, well, they're just dopes over there. He has been terrific.
What will it take for this team to start selling out at the Barclays? Like, how many more games do they have to win in a row here? What's their current streak? 3?
I don't think they can go undefeated the rest of the year at the Barclays. And maybe I just during the week you're just not going to get big crowds. It's just people don't want to come out from Long Island. And, maybe there'll be more of a buzz in Brooklyn. You'll get some people locally, but I don't know if you're going to get
there will be.
It's just the guys from Long Island. You're only going to get so many of those guys. And, you probably will see, 10, 11, 12 on it for a nondescript team on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. In the weekends, you'll sell out, you'll start to see bigger crowds and sellouts once they, get deeper into the heart of the schedule. And if they continue this, but you
think the Knicks are gonna? You think the Knicks are gonna be selling out?
Well, the Knicks have already sold out with Jim Dolan as owner. They've already sold out, but but hey, at least they sold out.
How about Porzingis with spraining his ankle today? Yeah.
And I love the subtle way that you moved the topic, the thread from Islanders to Knicks.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it. Yeah.
Oh, I can drool and gush over the Islanders offense all day.
All right, well, let's hold on. We'll revisit it and see where we are in a week or two, and go from there. And then you can keep drooling if it's warranted. I mean, look, it's kind of ridiculous hearing these MVP chants for Porzingis.
Oh, they're so lame. MVP is the lamest chant
it's just
ever.
Well, I'm not. It's just, to me, it's just a sign of desperation. Yes. It's just a fan base that is just
very enthusiastic.
Right, and that's fine, and that's great, but clearly desperate to find any glimmer of hope. And yeah, I mean, the guy flashed. I think he's beyond flashes at this point, right?
No, he's legit. No. Porzingis is
right. There's no question.
Stardom. He's already a star.
He is. But I mean, I don't know.
Stay healthy. That's the thing with him.
The thing about him is
keep him healthy.
Who's a comparable for Porzingis? I mean, I'm trying to think of what his ceiling is.
In the history of the league, you're not gonna. It's just that he's such a rare breed. This is.
I know
you don't have a 7'3" guy that can shoot and can put the ball on the floor and take it to the basket. Nowitzki.
Is it Nowitzki? Who else? Right? That's who he could become potentially. Right? And maybe better. He could be better than Nowitzki was.
Nowitzki is going to be a Hall of Famer, so I would take Nowitzki. It's not on the dotted line right now for Nowitzki. You want to see him still get stronger. You want to see him improve his defense, which he is. You want to see him develop more of a low post game, which he is. But right now, the Knicks are his team. Carmelo, you could have debated whether or not to keep him here. No more Phil. No more of that distraction and that nonsense going on between the two of them, the sniping and all that.
It's good that they're both gone.
Yes. It was absolutely the right move to get rid of Carmelo. It's now KP's team. You're going to hear KP all the time. Especially the way Clyde says it, KP. I can't do the Clyde voice, but this is Porzingis' team. And the Knicks right now, they are not a great team by any stretch. They're not a championship contender by any stretch. We can get into the fact that they're a good home team, but they still have one road win, and they are playing a ton of their games, really throughout the next few weeks at home. And, I checked their schedule from Christmas all the way through the All-Star break. They play 19 of 26 on the road, and it also includes a trip out west. And then they come back and go back out again out west after the All-Star break. So it is not going to be easy for them. They're going to have to learn to win on the road. Otherwise, you can write this season off as, another non-playoff season. Right now, you can.
But at least they're not pathetic, and they are okay, and they are watchable.
Yes.
And there are games like the game in Houston. Was it over the weekend? I think it was Saturday night, where it was just Houston just dominated in that
point lead in the first 5 minutes before you blink, they're up by 20 points, and then that was it. Losing to Atlanta is inexcusable. Atlanta is terrible. Their defense still is a little bit to be desired at times. At times, it's reverts back to what it was last year. They still can't defend the three well at all. They have a lot of work to do. But you're seeing some good signs here. You're seeing Hardaway kind of emerge as the former Wolverine who was here and then left and then come back. And we make fun of his contract, but he's turning into that secondary scorer. So good for him. He still has to shoot better than 41%, but if he improves that, he can definitely be that.
He's never been a good shooter.
And you saw him in Michigan all those years, so and he has to improve. He has to improve his outside shot. He could take the ball to the basket, and he can shoot some, but
he has to work on that. At Michigan, he was never a consistent outside shooter. He was very streaky, and his streaks were usually bad ones.
As streaky as Glenn Robinson's son.
And meanwhile, Michigan not really putting up much of a fight in Chapel Hill, I believe it was.
Oh, that's what you were alluding to earlier. Yes,
I was. Yes, coming full circle.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yep, so the ACC Big Ten Challenge. I think I was advised that this was
the Barclays.
The first. Oh, this is the Barclays.
Well, I'm asking.
The last time
they've had that at the Barclays, haven't it?
Oh, is it? I don't know. It says Chapel Hill.
They're in North Carolina. They're right. Because I know that they'll have
so.
like those tournaments in at Barclays. At least they've done it a few times in recent years.
Well, anyway, so yeah, Michigan not quite. Michigan put up a fight last year in the tournament, and the I think he's German, the forward that they have, who actually put up a good game tonight, but no match for North Carolina, not even close.
And I took a little bit of a shot at Jim. I think the last episode. So I don't know what is going on with that Wolverine football program. That's what I want to know. And how come Jim hasn't turned them into a championship contending team, which is where you would thought they would have been by now?
I mean, you look at the teams they lost to. You look at their quarterback play, their defense. The defense has been good. I just think that they had a huge quarterback problem, and
they did. O'Corn's terrible. Oh my God! The other guy that was in at least looked like he was competent in the Ohio State game, and then O'Corn comes in and ugh.
I don't know. I don't think it was that bad. Were they 8-4? I mean, it wasn't like they had a terrible year.
And he hasn't beaten Ohio State yet, right? What is he, 0-3? He's been there 3 years. Was it 4 years?
It's tough. Well,
I mean,
I know. At the end of the day, you got to get results, but it's not like they had a bad. This is a bad year for Michigan.
It's bad. It is and it isn't. I mean,
but if this is a bad year, that's not a bad. I mean, that's good. If this is what you consider
it's better than the Giants year. Well, if you want to put it into context, they're having a better year than the Giants are.
I mean, losing to Wisconsin, Penn State, Michigan State, and Ohio State. Yeah, I mean, it's 4 losses, but it's not like, I don't know.
We're going to find out how good Wisconsin is. Everybody's saying, they're undefeated, but they haven't played anybody. Well, we're going to find out how good they are. And I think Alabama has to be in the top 4. I just do. I think, and I can't stand them. I can't stand Alabama. I can't stand Nick Saban. We're going to find out exactly how much we can all hate Alabama come December 12th when a election occurs.
I don't know why. I don't know why I have a distaste for Alabama, but I do as well.
It's because Saban's a jerk, and they're just obnoxious, and like they've won all these years now, and you're like. And it's easy to hate it. To hate on a team that has all the success. And look, good for them. I mean, Saban's on a.
So is that your hipster? Is that your hipster moment of Zenith, or you have something else on tap for us?
No, I was going to bring up something else that kind of made me chuckle a little bit.
I'm ready. Okay.
But well, since we're on the college football thing, what is your prediction for the playoffs? We'll end it with that. Who's your 4 teams for the playoffs?
I don't know. I actually haven't really thought about it, to be honest. Let me see if I could do this on the fly. I'll pull up the rankings right now so I have a list and not omit someone.
They announced it today, right? Today it came out, the top 4. So it's Clemson, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Auburn. That was your top 4.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Well.
Do any one of those teams fall out?
There's conference championship games to be played this weekend, right? So, yes. I guess it's going to depend on what happens there. But assuming Wisconsin wins, they have to be in. You can't.
Yes.
A Big Ten team that's undefeated, they have to be in.
Well, I think if all of them win, and Clemson.
So who does Alabama jump over if?
Well, it would be Wisconsin. I think at this point, if Auburn loses, they play Georgia, right? So the question
they'd
is,
have 3 losses. Auburn has 2 losses, so
and then Auburn would fall out. Yes, they would fall out if they lose. Yeah. But does Georgia then leapfrog Alabama? That's the question. If Georgia
isn't Alabama Alabama's on the outside looking in, right?
Yeah. So I'm saying if Georgia wins, does that catapult Georgia above Alabama?
Oh, I see. I don't know.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hopefully. I doubt it. I mean, it's Alabama.
I mean, they were knocked off last year by Clemson, so it's not like you want to see them in just to see somebody knock them off. So and I'm not going to lose any sleep if they're not in there, believe me. But you just know that Alabama is one of the top 4 teams. And kudos to Auburn for knocking them off. I mean, I was rooting hard for Auburn. They did, and kudos to Auburn. But whatever. And I'm not losing sleep either way over who it is, but
Wisconsin is a 6.5-point underdog in the Big Ten championship against Ohio State.
Well, I'm not surprised.
You know that?
I would have guessed. I mean, I might have guessed maybe like it would have been like a 4-point dog or something, but I'm not surprised.
It's a neutral stadium.
It's just that Wisconsin right now is not looked at in the same tier as those other teams. They're saying, show us that you can, beat one of the big teams. Beating Michigan, okay, it's a nice win, I guess. But who else did they beat?
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't play Ohio. They didn't play Ohio State or Penn State this year. Until they'll be playing Ohio State obviously this weekend. And we'll see if they win. I think that legitimizes Wisconsin, and now you can at least think that they can be competitive in a playoff game, wherever they might play.
Right, but if they lose, they're done. They're not gonna.
Yes. They'll be looking for any opportunity to knock them. Yeah. If they lose, then they're finished. And then, of course, what does that do for Ohio State? So that's what if you want to see the NCAA in disarray, you just hope that Wisconsin loses. You hope that I guess you can hope that they all lose, and then you'll see it in complete chaos. But if you see Auburn lose, then they'll definitely be out. There won't even be a question. Right. Wisconsin, I think there would be no question either. I don't think Clemson. They play Miami, right?
Yeah,
so Oklahoma doesn't play anybody of note, I don't think, right? So I think Oklahoma.
Yeah, Miami beats Clemson. There's opportunity for Miami somehow. You never know.
Yeah, I guess so. Possible. Yeah, whatever. All right. Next.
Hipster moment of Zenith, yes.
Oh yeah. So this just caught my eye. So I thought it was. We all got to see Dominic Smith make his debut with the 9 Mets this past year, and I was
nice to work in Dominic Smith. I like.
Yes,
okay.
Well, I was shocked at how rotund a fellow he is. I was expecting, without knowing anything about him, I was expecting the tall, statuesque first baseman that you're so used to. Instead, you see like a little Pablo Sandoval pudge ball. And so apparently Dominic Smith, he is winning the Battle of the Bulge, if you will, as he apparently has lost 12 pounds this off season as he goes through his workout program and so forth. But apparently he was listed at 226 this year. Apparently he was 20 pounds heavier than that the previous off season when he lost 20-something pounds. I think it said 25 pounds he actually took off. So that means that he would have been around 250 if you 6 feet 250. Dominic Smith was. Yeah. And that was going into the previous season, and then trimmed down to 226, and apparently now it's down to I guess 215, whatever he's at now. But I just thought that was kind of funny. Like I said, I was not expecting the rotund fellow that he is when he showed up with the Mets. So there you go, Dominic Smith. He's down 11-12 pounds. Good for him. Yes. All right, next. And the
Yankees still don't have a manager. We'll touch upon that maybe next show. We'll see if something changes there.
Put me to sleep. I thought it was cool that Hensley Mullins was out there as a candidate. Bam Bam Mullins from back in the Stump Merrill Yankee days. Wow. I didn't even know he was doing stuff with the organization. Stump.
Is Gil Hodges a candidate too? Why not?
I was going to say Mel Hall should be a candidate, or maybe Melito Perez. All right.
How about Craig Nettles? All right.
Oh, Greg Nettles.
Sure.
With an AI, Greg Nettles.
Him too.
Yeah. So are we going to do picks though? That's.
All right. 2 games each.
All right.
Are you ready, or should I go?
No, you can go ahead.
All right.
Or I can go if you're not. You don't see one.
I'm looking. I mean, if you got one on your fingertips, fire away.
There's a couple that I find somewhat intriguing.
I'll take Miami at home, getting 1.5. Hosting Denver.
All right.
Denver's just look. Miami's defense is pretty bad, but I think Denver's is missing Aqib Talib this week because of the suspension, and they get Jay Cutler back, and I think they come out and just do enough to win the game. So there you go. A very exciting game that everybody's looking forward to this week. Miami, Denver.
And I love the breakdown. I love that breakdown. No Jay Cutler. There you go. They're gonna win because no Jay Cutler because he's
No,
terrible.
because Jay Cutler's back. He's
He's
back.
back. He's back. Well, then how can you pick him now? You thought that means they're gonna lose because he's Jay Cutler. He stinks. He's terrible.
All right, you're up.
All right, I am gonna take one of the big games of the week: Minnesota, Atlanta. I was just talking about the Falcons, how I think that they are hitting their stride. They're putting things together. Well, as much as I like Minnesota, and as much as I picked Minnesota early in the year, I said watch out for Minnesota, and that was with Sam Bradford before Case Keenum all of a sudden looks like he's the next coming there of a competent Sam Bradford. But let's not go crazy. But Atlanta right now, I think that at home. I know that they lost a couple of terrible games at home this year, which you never would have in a million years predicted, losing to Buffalo and Miami. 17-0 up on Miami. They lose. But you look at the way that they've played over the last few weeks. They had that great win over Seattle. They beat the Jets, in which, the game that very easily could have lost. And who did they beat last week? I'm blanking who they beat last week. But it looks like they are hitting their stride. And
Minnesota beat Detroit on Thanksgiving.
No, Atlanta. I was trying to remember who Atlanta played last week. I'm blanking out.
I'm drawing a blank too.
Yeah, but I like the way that I like the way that the Atlanta's coming together, and I really believe that they. Huh?
Tampa Bay.
Oh yeah, they blew out Tampa Bay. Well, Tampa Bay's terrible, but I think that their offense is coming together. I think that their defense it's not great, but I think it's good enough. And I think that Minnesota, they play better defense at home than they do on the road. Can they score points against Atlanta? They can, and I think they will. But I think that Atlanta is going to put up. I think they're going to put up in the high 20s. I can see this. They're giving away 3 points. They're laying 3 points. Is Atlanta? But I think that I can very easily see this as like a 27-21 type of game. That Atlanta wins. So give me the Falcons laying the 3 against the Vikings.
Okay. So this is not because you said anything about this team earlier, but let's take Buffalo getting +9 at home, hosting the Patriots. This is more of one of those games where the Patriots are just going to struggle in Buffalo. Buffalo's defense has been up and down. Ty God has been given the reins back, and they're going to move the ball. I know the Patriots defense has been better, but they're gonna move the ball. They're going to keep this game close. The Patriots are not going to score as easily as you've seen them score in recent weeks. And am I saying the Bills are going to win? No, but I think it's going to be a tight game, and I would take the +9 that the Bills are getting at home.
Just to let you know, Tom Brady has had so much success in Buffalo that he is on his way to becoming the winningest quarterback in Ralph Wilson Stadium since 2001.
Yes, and I totally factor that into my decision making for that game. Thank you.
Yes, obviously. All right. I am actually going. I wanted to take the Seahawks, giving away laying the points against the Eagles. I can't do it.
6.
I want to. Is it 6 now?
6 points.
I wanted to do it, and I saw it was 5.5 there. I guess went up to 6. I wanted to take them. I just can't because the young quarterback going into that building with that home crowd. Seattle can put up points. I think they will put up points against the Eagles, but I think the Eagles are going to score points too. That defense is losing. That secondary is completely decimated in Seattle. So I can't.
I'm worried. Yeah, and Russell Wilson's going to be running. I mean, he does every other week running for his life, but this matchup is like the worst.
The Eagles matchup.
The worst possible matchups for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I agree.
Their offensive line is terrible, and the front seven for the Eagles
has been very good, and their front four especially, it's been very, very good.
So he is. I mean, he makes Houdini plays, but I'm sorry, I just don't see how he could make enough to.
I don't think.
Look, they are getting 6. They're getting 6 points, so I could see. I understand the temptation, I do, but I could also see it getting out of hand towards the end with a couple of bad turnovers when the Seahawks are, kind of neat, where they have to abandon their running game that's non-existent to begin with. And that's another big problem.
Thomas Rawls. Whoops, that was a big miss by the lip.
What happened there?
So,
jeez.
Yep. Well, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I am going to go to the Monday night game. Yes, I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals at home against the Steelers. I can't believe the line is as high as it is. I wish it was lower. I was hoping it'd be a 3-point line against the Steelers. What is it up? Is it 5? Is it 5 now?
5.5.
5.5. I hate that it's so high. I really wanted it to be like a 3.5, whatever. I'm still going to take them, though, at 5.5. I think that Cincinnati, they are not a bad team. They have weapons on offense. Mixon has played better. Green has played well. Dalton has finally settled in after his horrific start. They have players on defense. This is a stadium that I can see, Cincinnati feeding off their home crowd on Monday night. I did not like what I saw from the Steelers defense. Again, we talked about it earlier against Green Bay. I think the Steelers are going to put up some points? Yes, but they're not nearly as prolific on the road as they are at home. And I think Cincinnati is going to score a decent amount of points here. I can, again, another game where I can predict them, high 20s, low 30s, maybe like a 31-24 or something like that, or even maybe like a 31-20 or something. I can very easily see the Bengals beating the Steelers and beating them going away. I'm going out on a little bit of a limb there because, again, it's a big line. But give me the Bengals laying the 5 at home against the Steelers on Monday night.
There are, is it 8 games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 games where the home team is the underdog this week.
Damn.
That seems like a lot.
8 games?
Yeah.
Wait, 8 games where the home team is the underdog?
Yes. That seems that's half the games. Yeah. Dallas. So Dallas is tomorrow night. Hosting Kansas City, Miami, hosting Denver, hosting New England, Green Bay hosting Tampa Bay. It's 1 point. Arizona hosting the LA Rams, Seattle hosting Philly, and Cincinnati hosting Pittsburgh. 8 games.
Wait a minute. So I read that wrong then. I'm an idiot then. So wait. Who's the favorite in the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game?
Yeah. Cincinnati's getting 5.5 points.
Oh, they're getting 5. Oh my God! Then it was really an easy decision.
It's +5. Cincinnati's +5.
Oh, because the way that they have this set up here, they have it that it's stupid. I'm looking at ESPN.
So you took Cincinnati as a 5.5 point favorite?
I did. Yes.
They're getting 5.5.
Even better. Can't believe the line is that high.
Yeah, I was actually a little confused when you said you wish it were 3 and not 5, but.
No, I'm looking at ESPN's stupid thing here. They don't make it clear at all as to who's the favorite. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. Yeah, never mind.
All right,
next. Well, I feel like a horse's patoot. All right, well, I'm still sticking with my picks though. I'm still sticking with Cincinnati, obviously, if they're laying the 5. If they're getting the 5. And yeah, well, I picked the Falcons, and they are
Falcons are getting 3. Yes. Yeah, exactly. You got it. Okay.
All right. Next.
All
right. Oh, yes. And of course, that brings us to the final segment of the week. In case you have forgotten, apparently I did. Apparently I forgot a lot of stuff. Whoops. It is the final segment, everybody's favorite, yours and mine. And obviously it must be the Hipster Beer of the Week. And that's your cue. Take it away, Mr. Hip.
Yeah, we haven't. I was checking the list of when we last had a other half Hipster Beer of the Week, and it may have been in April, a long time ago. So since then, these guys. Look, these guys are, cream of the crop for microbrews in town. Every Saturday they have a big release. Now they're doing weekday releases. They sell out usually the same day on these releases, maybe the day after. It's just ridiculous how the amount of attention that they get. And what really, I think, just showed me how ridiculous this is getting. No, not maybe ridiculous. Just how over the top. So they had a release 2 weeks ago, 3 different beers. 2 of the beers, so they opened up at 10. 2 of the beers by 11 o'clock were already gone. I actually strolled in a little bit after that, thinking I might get at least 2 of the 3 beers. Well, I saw that people were already posting that 2 of them sold out. There's 1 left. And so I get there. I'm like, all right, well, you know what? There's 1 left, and it's probably going to be pretty good. It's a Myler, not Myler Bags, but Myler Daydream or some, I don't know, something like that. And I get out of the car and I see, and there's 50 people in line. And there's only 1 kind of beer left.
Damn.
I'm like, I'm not waiting in line. And this is not like some epic, crazy collaboration. It's just, it's a new type of beer. Okay, I get it.
Epic.
But am I going to wait in line with on a 50-person line? I mean, needless to say, I had my wife and son in the car, and I wasn't going to make them sit in the car while I'm waiting in line to get 1 kind of beer. I mean,
no, they would have understood.
Look, if it were just by myself, then maybe. But I mean, reality kind of sunk in and said, "What the hell?" Well, let me tell you something. They are making these oat cream IPAs, and they are churning them out almost every weekend. And yes, I think this style is pretty much as good as it gets right now. Basically, you can laugh all day you want at this, but it's creamy mouthfeel.
Creamy mouth.
Pretty much. So these oat cream IPAs are there's just a little bit less bitterness to them. They're creamier, and I could see why they're trying to churn these out almost every week. Because people like them.
Just thinking of it.
So long story short, the hipster beer of the week is called Space Dream, 6% oat cream IPA, 100% hop with Galaxy, layered with oats and a hint of lactose sugar. And it shows off Galaxy's passion fruit and citrus character nicely.
Is it crushable?
So there you go. If you come across the opportunity to try any of Other Half's oat cream IPAs, please do not hesitate to do so. Amongst the best of styles circulating in the unknown parts of the metropolitan city areas. And with that, thank you for sticking through a bit longer of usual episode as we kind of catch up here.
Yes. Well, but one last question on the hipster beer of the week. So because it's so good that even if your wife and little hipster baby are in the car, you should still wait online with 50 people just to get that 1 type of beer. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, right.
All right. Made the mistake of not waiting. All right. Well, that takes care of that. Yes, we will see you next time, and we apologize to all those that have missed us, and we will be sending out some tweets.
Here on the hill and the